In this video, we are going to look at some of the questions that students find most difficult in the sequences practice material that I uploaded to my website, as well as one of the different ways that I'm trying to get students to visualize these problems. So let's start with the two questions at the top. For the first one, 12, 16, 20, and then the students are asked to find the next three numbers. Students typically do well with these kinds of questions as long as the numbers are reasonable or attainable, because they see it as just kind of an extension to skip counting. So 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, and 32. If we move on to the next one, we're essentially asking students to do the same thing, but skip count backwards. So again, as long as the numbers given at the end of the sequence are attainable to the students, they can just kind of skip count backwards. 32, 28, 24, 20, 16, 12, and we have the same sequence, just with different numbers missing. The issue with this strategy is that it doesn't lend itself really well to the two types of questions that are below, just because the numbers we're looking for are kind of spread out through the sequence. So what I'm encouraging students to do is to go back to the easier questions, but visualize them on a number line where each number or each blank represents a different line on the number line. So we have 12, 16, 20, blank, blank, and blank. And this just kind of helps them really visualize that the skip jump or the space between each number or the difference between each number should always be the same. So in this case, because the difference between 12 and 16 is 4, and the difference between 16 and 20 is 4, well, the difference between all of the other numbers have to be 4 as well. And if we look at the second question, it's the exact same thing, but we're working from the larger numbers first. So 32, 28, and 24. But the skip, or the difference between each number, is still the same. Now the students find that this is a little bit of extra work for nothing with the more simple questions, but it does help them visualize quite a bit once we get to either larger numbers, which they'll have to work with in grade 4 and 5, or questions like the two that are below, where the unknown numbers are kind of spread out. But let's look at it. So here we have 15, a blank, 27, 27, a blank, 39, and then we finish with another blank. So the steps here are the exact same. Students are still looking to find the difference between two values that are known on the number line. So here we're looking for students to do 15 plus what is 27? And the answer here is 12. But what students need to visualize is that 12 represents two spaces or two differences on our number line. So if the two spaces are worth 12, then each single space has to represent 12 divided by 2, or the half of 12, which is 6. So in this case, our mini skip jumps are actually 6, not 12. And then we can go complete the sequence. 15 plus 6 is 21. 21 plus 6 is 27. It's really important to encourage students to check their work this way. 27 plus 6 is 33. 33 plus 6 is 39. And 39 plus 6 is 45. Now for the next one, The next one I'm learning probably should be reserved for grade 4 students, or sorry, grade 5 students only at this point of the year, just because they have a little bit better knowledge of division at this point. Later in the year, once we look at division with the grade 7 students, we'll come back to these kinds of questions. But if the numbers are small enough, it can still be a kind of fun little problem to play with students. So in this case, we do the exact same thing. Let's find the difference between two of the known numbers on the number line. So in this case, the difference between 15 and 27 is still 12. But here, 12 is represented by 3 spaces on my number line. So the value of each space then becomes 12 divided by 3. Again, students can play with this. They can kind of guess and check at this point in the year. They can draw pictures. Once we get further in the year and we really look at multiplication and division, this will become a basic fact. But at this point, it's still something they're kind of working through. So 12 divided by 3 is 4, which means that each of our jumps is 4. So 15 plus 4 is 19. 19 plus 4 is 23. 23 plus 27, just to do a quick check, or 23 plus 4 is 27. 27 plus 4 is 31. And then our final check, 31 plus 4 is 35. So we're all good. Thanks for watching. There are some practice materials on my website.